on January the 9th, our whole entire family, including our granddaughter who lives here with us with her parents, 60 months old, we tested positive for COVID. And we're coming out, thank God, to the prayers of our community, of Rua, our families, our friends. We wanted to accept this opportunity to witness, even though we are still coming out of the woods, but we are victorious in Jesus. And I want to share today our testimony of our 40 days of fasting, and which ended on December the 10th last year. So basically, through this testimony, I want to share with all of you that Jesus does live in us, that Jesus does fast in each one of us, and Jesus does love through each one of us. So I bumped into Father Claudio's videos during 2020 at the beginning of the year, and something captivated my attention because I did have a relationship with the Lord, but I wanted to go deeper into the calling. I am part of the Charismatic Renewal. My husband is a Mormon convert to the Catholic faith. We've been married 29 years. We have two daughters, recently a granddaughter, and we're enjoying being grandparents. And we wanted to always go more into that beautiful chapter of Acts of the Apostles to that power of Pentecost, and we wanted more and more. So on one day, I had two invitations from two different people, and it came from two friends inviting me to fast for 40 days. And I took that as a sign from the Lord. I took that as a calling, but I didn't jump on it right away. I wrote to the mission and I came into one of the Zoom calls, and Father connected me with Norita Correa, and I started communicating with her. I was fascinated at the way the mission presented fasting, not as a punishment, but as a grace of love from the fasting from our hearts to the Lord. So I started following the Zoom calls. I felt like I was just entering into every call, logging into English, Spanish, because I was hungry. I was hungry for more. And I remember one day I kept on thinking, when should I start? When should I start? And I wrote to Norita, and she said, "The Lord will tell you." They never pushed me. They never said, "Do it." They said, "Listen to the Lord." So I started listening to the Lord. I started writing a little journal from what Father was teaching and his talks. So I felt the prompting in my heart to start for Advent, to have a different Christmas, to have a different New Year's. And boy, I tell you, with this COVID visit into our homes was totally different. But throughout the 40 days, the Lord actually prepared us in strength, in the spirit, to face this virus as a family because it hit the six of us. And I think the Lord allowed us to fast in order to walk with Him through these days and weeks of the virus. So I made my decision to start on November the 1st, preparation for Advent. And I was so happy that I actually had a date to start. But as soon as I decided on that date, I started praying my rosary. And as I went out to the front of my house, I had an accident. The tree in front of our house, the branches somehow just hit me on the face, scratched me in a way. I'll show you pictures at the end, that I felt the enemy was not happy with the decision of me fasting the 40 days. So I grabbed my rosary and I started to repeat what we probably think it's a slogan: Jesus fasts in me, Jesus ayuna en mí. It's not a slogan, it's actually reality. So I started to repeat, Jesus will fast in me, Jesus will fast in me. I was scratched, my eye was swollen. It was like I was out of a Rocky Balboa movie. And I spoke to my family, my husband, my girls. I told them about the calling of fasting. due to some health issues, they were concerned. And I said, I feel the Lord is calling me. So they really jumped on the support and helped me right through the whole thing because I wanted a total change. And I also wanted my family to encounter the Lord. So even though they didn't fast, they entered into the experience with me. We sat together at the dinner table every night. They prepared my piece of bread, my sacramentals, oil, salt, water, and we got together as a family, prayed, and they felt the experience as well. So the first night of my fast, something interesting happened. I had a dream, and in that dream, my spiritual director gave me a wooden rosary and said, "Here, you got 40 days to take your grandfather out of purgatory." So I was very shocked. I felt it as a strong message. And I called my Father Gustavo and I said, "Hey, Father, I dreamt about you and you were doing this. I'm starting my 40-day journey." He gave me a general confession, blessed me, and we started on the journey. So we started praying the rosary more for the souls of purgatory. So on then after, as I continue with the bread and water and the sacramentals, something inside of me just opened up, and I was a little more sensitive to listening, to captivating what the Lord was saying, His voice. And it was through dreams that the Lord was talking to me. Another dream that was very significant was these white circles were coming very near to me and they were whispering in my ear, but I couldn't understand what they were saying. And it was many circles coming. And then I woke up. I couldn't get out of bed. I was so tired. So I was listening to Father Claudio and I bumped into this video where he said, if you experience some type of unusual tiredness, pray to the souls, go to mass, go to confession, receive communion. Due to the lockdown, I was just doing masses online. And if it's a soul of purgatory, you're going to receive that strength. Well, sure enough, after those dreams, I started just to releasing all of those white circles to the Lord. I didn't know how to do it, and I just presented that to the Lord, and this strength came upon me, and I was able to get up and move and do my things. So I said, okay, something the Lord is telling me about the souls of purgatory. So I started reading Luisa Picarreta's book, which I very much recommend, The Passion of Christ. I started to buy all the different books. I was able to get my cross, which Jesus heals me, and my beautiful my bedside friend, my book of prayers, and all of this started to help me throughout this journey. While I was fasting, our spiritual director died March 2020 due to COVID. And the other dream that I had during my fasting was with Father Juan, who is my spiritual director from the Charismatic Renewal, who passed away. And he said clearly, "Mary, God gave me permission to come and tell you that I have a mansion in heaven and I'm doing fine. I have permission to tell you this. So I want you to take a picture of me." So in my dream, I grabbed my phone, I took a picture, and it was only a white light that came on my picture. And he said to me, "See, I'm telling you the truth. I only have permission so I can tell you to stop crying, to tell everyone to stop crying. I'm doing fine." And then he left. I woke up that day. I wrote it on my journal because it's what I recommend. You get a journal as you do your 40 days of fasting. So I started to call his family and I shared this beautiful dream with them. I said, "Father Juan is resting in the presence of the Lord." I was able to have a conversation in God's mercy, and he told me to share this with you. So in Toronto, that's where I am. 20 of us started the fast, and 16 of us were able to finalize. I see Julie, who's here, and Sister Anne, and other people that were joining us through this fasting. It was beautiful from the Spanish community and the English community, Italian community. We all gathered from our diocese and felt this call. One of them was my mom, 70 years old. She even called our spiritual director and she says, I think I'm not in age to do this. And the priest said, the Lord will tell you. And she heard Father's Claudio's testimony of a lady that was about 80 plus, and she did it. So my mom said, the Lord confirmed, I'm going to do it. She finished her fasting with us. So did my goddaughter, severe case of diabetes. She went right through the whole 40 days and expected miracles, and she got them. One of them was that she was able to do the fasting, and she didn't need a blood transfusion, which she regularly does need. She didn't for the 40 days. Another person that joined the fast told me that she had joy in her heart and in her household as she's never experienced before. So all of that was happening as fruits of the fast. One of the sorry, one of the gifts that we got as a family was that my daughter, who's married, was waiting for her husband for 2 years. Their baby was born and he still couldn't come. Letters went out from the government, from members of parliament, from spiritual directors, from the doctors, because my daughter was going to miscarry the baby. Nothing got my son-in-law here. On the 10th day of my fasting, on November the 10th, we got a letter and he was able to come. The border opened up and closed the following day, and he was able to enter into Canada, and he is here with us. And that was a miracle that we received. My mom had been praying for my brother to consecrate to Our Lady for a long time. On November the 21st, Christ the King, my brother consecrated with his whole entire family to our Blessed Mother, and he baptized his 5-year-old daughter. So that was a beautiful present and fruit from the fasting. And then the famous 3 days of St. Paul. I know that God knows me. He knows my husband. He knows my kids. He knows my family. We are broken because of our sin, but we want to be holy saints, and we're working on that. And just how God knows the desires of my heart, the enemy also knows that we want to become saints. So on the day I prayed and the Lord prompted me to do my 3 days of fasting, December 6, 7, and 8, to end with the beautiful feast of Our Lady on December the 8th, I fell down the stairs in a way that it was terrible. I started my fasting with an accident. I decided to do my St. Paul's fasting, and there was another accident. I have, because I love to journal, I take pictures of everything. And what I wanted to do was just continue to grow into the love of God. So I entered the 3 days, no water, no bread. It was a grace only by God. My husband kept on saying to me as he saw me really deteriorating, stop, you're not gonna be able to. He was basically an angel because he took me 3 days in the lockdown to church. Our priest gave him permission. He's a Eucharistic minister, to give me the Eucharist. And on the third day, my spiritual director gave me the body of Christ. In the middle of the lockdown, I was able to consume the blood, the body of Jesus, and it gave me the strength for my 3 days. I like to share with you briefly that if you feel the calling, fear is going to come into your heart right away. The feel of failure, but just continue to say, Jesus is fasting in me. Jesus is and lives in me, and you'll carry on. One beautiful thing that happened in the second day of the St. Paul's fasting, when I was literally dying because I had no strength, when I went to the shower, I was just saying, Jesus, I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty. As soon as the water hit my body, I went onto my knees and I just cried like a baby, because I felt my dry spirit receiving the soaking of the rivers of living water in my body. And I started to sing, Tengo sed de ti. I am thirsty for you, Lord. And the Lord visited me in the shower, and he just gave me the strength to carry on. I finished the third day very weak. I thought I was going to die. On that second night, I grabbed my rosary and I told my husband that I wasn't feeling well. I did the act of contrition. And when I opened my eyes the next day, I was happy that I didn't die. But Mary Cruz died and was born a new person. I'm still trying to be a good wife, a good mother, but there was something in me that died that day, those 3 days of St. Paul. So on the last day, which was the 10th of December, the Lord put in my heart to prepare a meal. I still was not eating, nothing. I made beef and mashed potatoes and everything. And I prepared a meal for my husband, for my daughters, for one of the boyfriends, and the husband and the baby. And they said that my meal was really good. It tasted so delicious. My husband was very happy. I didn't eat at all, only my bread and my water. And and they said that it was one of the best meals. And I was able to ask them to forgive me. I just felt moved. I wasn't shining. I wasn't trying to show off. I just felt that Jesus was telling me, you got your family here at the table. Tell them how sorry you are for your behavior, for the ways that sometimes you don't love them. I was crying. They were just watching me, and I was just telling them what I was feeling. So that was my journey. Charity came to my house, love, prayer, fasting, Jesus, Our Lady, the angels, everyone was here. So I like to end just by sharing with you the proof of what the Lord did while I was fasting. So you're never afraid. This is the day where I decided to fast. And this is, I call it the punch of the enemy, but the victory of Jesus. This is when I fell down the stairs, when I decided to do my 3 days of fasting, but the Lord was victorious. My best friends became my sacramentals, my water, my salt, my oil, and my bread. And this was really special to me. And I made it into this picture. This is in my kitchen because now I cook with this every day. I drink water every day, and I anoint my family daily with it. On the day I started my fasting, I came to throw away this plant. I was picking it up because it was dead, and the Lord in my ear, he said, "Don't throw it. Leave it for 40 days." I obeyed. I wrote a note. I prayed and I talked to the plant and I said, "You are dying. This is me." The Lord said, 40 days, let's wait and see. On the 40th day, it bloomed a white flower. This is a lily, only blooms flowers during Easter, and it did it on December the 10th. This is my family that was able to get together after 2 years with our baby that I testified in national television that she is a miracle during my fasting, and my brother consecrating with his family and the baby getting baptized. This is a fruit of the fasting. My mom's gift, heaven gave my mom a gift. This is what the Lord delivered me. This is me in March. I was going into the light of chocolate. And this is what I omitted and I forgot to share with you. Father Claudio, on December the 6th, during my fast of the 3 days, said something very important to me, that the Lord delivered me from chocolate desires. And he didn't even know that I had a fascination on chocolate. So I took a picture of me on my last day of fasting because the Lord is renewing his temple. And this is my family enjoying the dinner I prepared for them. And my gift from heaven was that through Radio Maria, I work as a volunteer and I have a program for the Spanish community called Current of Grace. And I was able to interview Father Claudio for the first time in my life ever. And it was how the Lord blessed me in my 40-day journey. Thank you, Norita. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Father Claudio. and here to my husband for supporting me and my whole entire family. I love you all, and get ready for Lent. Lent, February 17th. We're doing the fasting nationwide, Toronto and the world, please. Amen.